Hey man, it's everybody's favorite RWBY lover. Cause it seems my opinions on this show are very widely accepted and not hated at all. Thanks for the support though, guys, it means a lot. And I made a promise about 4 months ago to watch the new and allegedly good Volume 9 of RWBY. Now, I got something to confess to you guys. I was a little down in the dumps recently. For 2 weeks, I've been working on a video for a movie that shall not be named, cause it seems like Netflix doesn't want me to talk about it. Yeah, you really showed me Netflix. That'll teach me to talk about your product that I like. But when I got done coping, I tried to look for things to cheer me up. So, I did my usual. I went on Twitter and searched for the happiest nigga I could find and started hating on him for no reason. And then I went into the middle of an active gym at 6 p.m., not to work out, but to light a cigarette in the middle of the bench press. But to my surprise, that ain't doing nothing for me. I even went home and played Mass Effect, and that cheered me up. For a while. But then I remembered we're years away from another fucking Mass Effect game. So in my time of desolation and turmoil, I found myself turning to darker methods. I bought a Crunchyroll subscription and watched Volume 9 of RWBY. And I liked it. It was the first time in a long time that this show has actually made me feel something. I actually wasn't bored while watching this season. And bro, that is a huge step up from the last 6 seasons. Volume 9 succeeded in captivating me as a viewer and making me gain a little bit of trust in this show again. So, is it good? No. Okay. I mean, it really depends on what aspect of the season you're looking at it from. While the plot could be a little outlandish and nonsensical at times, I can't say that at any point I wanted to stop watching it. The storyline and emotional arcs throughout the season were actually kind of charming, and I was honestly really engaged throughout these whole arcs. Does that mean they're particularly well written? Shit, that's debatable, my nigga. But no, like, seriously, this season actually made me like Yang and Blake's relationship. I'm not joning you. Like, I'm not joking. I'm not joshing you right now. I'm so for real. I mean, it wasn't that hard. All they needed to do was actually make them interact with each other and actually act like they're in a relationship. But I know one person who's a not so happy camper when it comes to, those people. But what I feel like is really holding me back from liking this season is probably the ending and the messages this season tries to send and how it goes about doing it. Like, half of this season really just felt like the writers were just using this time to air out their grievances towards the audience and fan base and trying to make them feel bad for all the valid points that were brought up to critique this show in the past. I mean, but hey, what better time to do it? I hear this show is kind of on its last legs now. And I don't know, man. The best way I can explain the ending without saying anything just yet is like, it almost felt like a professional wrestling storyline. The story starts off mad interesting with all these twists and turns and, even some heavy moments that make you root for these characters a little bit more. But then you get to the end and you start getting the feeling that you've been getting tricked this whole time and the writers actually had no idea how to conclude the storyline in a satisfying way. So now they're just trying shit to get them out of the corner they wrote themselves into. But honestly, the only reason that I could really say that I enjoyed this season is because I kind of had to pretend the last seasons didn't exist and that this was a completely different show. And believe it or not, I think that's what they're going for here. Because yeah, once you start remembering what happened before and apply that knowledge to this season, some of what they're saying and some of their arc's emotional conclusions are just kind of stupid. But look, I've said too much already. I'll show you what I mean. And if you're interested in knowing my thoughts on these characters in the last 8 seasons, I'll leave my first ever RWBY video in the description. But for those who have already seen it, you already know what I'm about. Run it! So the season starts off with a nice little sequence of where we left off at the end of the 8th season. And RWBY's getting her ass beat by her psycho stalker Neapolitan. Like, RWBY, she low-key piecing you up. Do something about this. Bro, she's choking you up! So RWBY wakes up on the beach after getting folded by a bowl of ice cream, and she finds herself in a strange, colorful forest filled with colorful-looking bugs and dodo birds. Take it from me, RWBY. Don't eat the mushrooms. So she's trying to escape from this forest, but every time she moves forward, she keeps getting portaled back to the way she came from already. So she thinks about it for a minute, and then immediately gives up and starts crying. Like, RWBY, we're not even 4 minutes in yet, and you're already crying. I don't know if that's sad, or funny, or not or both. Hey, someone put this girl on Dr. Phil. Or Family Feud, either one works. But she takes a quick break from crying to help her little rat homie pull some cheese out of the ground, because that's how cheese works. Hey, good looking now, shorty. Well, in the meantime, we cut away from RWBY and hey, it's my two favorite mistakes. And somehow they were actually able to find each other after they fell. Don't ask me how, cause the show doesn't even care enough to explain that. And Blake's over here asking the good questions. Hey Weiss, how you doing? How's your hot sister? I love what you did with your hair. And also, how the fuck did we all manage to fall down here? What happened? And Weiss says, ugh, I don't want to talk about it. And then they proceed to not talk about it. Nice to know the trope of not relaying information for no reason is still alive and kicking.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
So Weiss and Blake start chopping away at some green forest vine monster thing, cause somehow it got a hold of Blake's knife gun. And somehow they lose and get captured. Personally, if I was a trained hunter, you would not see me getting packed up by the local agriculture. But Ruby's mouse homie is taking her on a stroll through the mouse trenches, and she finds the rest of his hood, sacrificing their ops at the stake. I don't know, RWBY, this kinda seems like a lit-ass block party. But Mouse Homie explains to his hood that they're not the ops, cause they checked in. And since they all found each other, they asked the mice that just recently enslaved them if they've seen their fourth very esteemed member, Yang. Yeah, she kinda looks like us. Long hair, looks like a total bitch but isn't. But she can be if she wanted to. But they haven't seen her, so they go and make their way to find her. And once again, like Blake tried to inquire earlier, RWBY asks Weiss, hey, how did we all manage to fall down here? What happened? But Weiss really seems to want to withhold this information for some reason. Like, Weiss, is it that serious? I'm sure you could have found the time to tell them on this long-ass walk up here. Bitch, you are not holding the secrets to the Necronomicon. You fought Cinderfall, got your ass kicked, and then died. It's not that hard. But then they hear a weird noise coming from the hill, and they run up there to find man-made horrors beyond my comprehension.
Let me get a yellow barrel.
I said I wasn't done with you yet.
That'll show him Yang. So they beat the Dark Souls boss and it retreats. And yay, happy reunion! And for some reason, it was actually kind of touching when they reunited here. This season's dialogue actually makes it seem like they like each other and they're on a team together or something. So Yang, what happened to your arm this time?
I don't think you'd believe me if I told you.
Don't you dare fucking finish that sentence. So now Yang's asking Weiss what the fuck happened, and she actually starts to tell them this time. She tells them about how all the relics are gone, and how they doomed everyone in Vacuo to their death, and how Penny's actually dead because John had to stab her, and oh yeah, I guess they weren't even there for that, huh? Well, all's well that ends well. Right, RWBY. I told her not to eat the mushrooms. So after she wakes up, they start talking about what they actually know about their situation. So, they basically fucked up and doomed all of Remnant. But is it really surprising though? Shit's like a normal Sunday for you guys. Oh yeah, and RWBY's weapon is missing, and her psycho stalker best friend Neapolitan is also in this world. But funnily enough, that's not the craziest part. Blake has a theory of where they are right now. She says they might be in a fairy tale? Hey, where are the bathrooms in this place? It only gets crazier from here. So starting back from where we left off, RWBY says that she knows this world is weird, but a fairy tale? That's impossible. And then they point out the talking mouse on her shoulder. But what I'm trying to figure out is, what is she talking about? RWBY, out of all the shit you've seen in just like your life, this is the thing that's kerflunking you? RWBY, I can't tell if the writers are trying to give you random shit to say to pad the time, or if you've actually just lost all will to go on. Either way, I'm actually starting to feel a little bad for you now, man. It could also be because her voice actor has improved over the years, and she could really sell that tired RWBY voice. But who cares? Let's move on. Most of these subtle emotional moments gets undercut by bad comedy most of the time in this season anyways.
You got your arm stolen by a... what was it that you said?
A talking raccoon riding on a purple wagon filled with trash.
Okay, that was kind of funny. So Weiss goes into the corner to tweak out, and Blake once again starts to draw a connection with this world to something. A fictional world from a story they read as kids, called The Ever After. The book titled The Girl Who Fell Through the World, with the main protagonist being a girl named Alex. No, you're black! Have you figured it out yet? And you know what? I'm glad Blake is the one pointing this out, cause you like remember when she read books? Yeah. But for the love of God, enough exposition, let's go actually solve our problems. So the gang decides to base their next plan on the girl who fell through the world's fictional storyline and follow all the events that happened in the book with the hopes of ending up by a magical tree that's supposedly supposed to take them home somehow. And hey, I know that plan sounds kinda out there, but compared to the shit they usually come up with, this shit should be considered genius. And first up on the agenda, find Yang's arm. And Mouse Homie gives them the drop on that purple raccoon who has her arm. The Jinxie Peddler. Hey, lower your tone when you're talking to Mouse Homie. You know he got shooters, bro. So they make it into the next town over, and god damn, I gotta remember to take my medication. So they stumble upon the Jinxie Peddler's little magic act, and Yang's like, alright, let's kill him. But Blake says, Yang, that's not what happened in the book. Alex bartered with the peddler to get her item back. We have to do the same. Nah, I think I still want to kill him. And for once, I agree with Yang. There's no way a nigga like me getting bitched by Rocket Raccoon. But Jinxie's whole shtick is that he disguises the items that he has into things of value to lie to people. But does that really make him bad? You could say that just makes him Nintendo. But people are bidding on his items, and Yang spots the item that could be disguised as her arm. And she starts to bid on it, but a tall soldier man also seems to want it as a present to the king. But the thing is, there's no money in the Ever After, and the only kind of currency Jinxie accepts is feeling and emotion. And you know, it sounds confusing, but it's actually a pretty interesting concept. But it stays just that, a concept, because the writers don't expand on it at all. Like, it would have actually been kind of interesting if one of the members had to give up an emotion or a feeling that they treasure in this scene. That shit would have had some crazy implications down the line. But I'm not mad. This show has a history of not expanding on interesting ideas. But I was just like a bit more confused on how I was supposed to like take Yang reacting like this to his price in this scene. Jinxie says that he would part with this golden scepter for the price of knowing what it's like to feel loved. First off, Jinxie, are you okay? And second, Yang gives like this big exaggerated look upon hearing this, and I was just confused on like what they meant. Did they mean like she never knew what it was like to feel loved? Did they mean like her love with Blake? Why are they making it so vague then if that's what they're going for? And if so, what kind of pussy is this dude macking? And while this is all happening, RWBY starts to stare at this toy doll item like she's hypnotized. She says it's something about that one, so she bids on it. But Jinxie says the price is
enough hope to fill this jar.
Bitch ain't got no hope. But since Mouse Homie's real like that, he gets a lick on the toy doll for RWBY. And usually, you only get to hold the item when the deal is done. But since he stole it, it transforms back into its original form. Which explains why RWBY was so attracted to it. Kind of. It was Penny's sword. And all the items are changing, and people realize they've been scammed and start to revolt. Damn it! People are catching on! Quick! Sell them vouchers! But in the midst of the chaos, Team RWBY escapes into the forest.
Those people take auctions very seriously. High five? High five?
And for some reason, Blake's the only one freaking out.
We're doing the same thing Alex did. We're ruining everything.
That's your biggest concern right now?
Yeah, what's the problem? You guys do it all the time. And RWBY gets sad over this sword and starts to make the sky cry. But no, like seriously, kudos to her voice actor. Every time RWBY talks, it's like you could literally hear her mental health declining in real time. But I think the writers now have a fear of being too serious or something. It's like they have to make a joke after each one of these scenes. And my guy, They're not funny. The only time I have laughed so far has been jokes made by Yang, and that is scaring me. But the toy soldiers find them and demand for the arm back, because they need it as a gift for the Red King's birthday. But instead of running, RWBY takes the charge here and says that they will also be attending that party, because that's the next thing Alex did in the story, and she got through by beating the king at his own game. Yep, guys, we're gonna save the world by going to a birthday party.
It's your birthday today. Everybody say hooray. There's a cat licking your birthday cake. It's your birthday today.
So they make it to the very illustrious Red Castle and meet the Red King. What am I looking at here? Hey, I know what this is. I don't care how many times you catch me, you are not getting back your fucking Lucky Charm. So it turns out the Red King is actually the Red Prince. And low-key, bro's a total zest fest. Like, look, it's all in the hands, bro. And Yang points out in the book that the Red King wasn't this much of an asshole, or short. But one of the soldiers angrily retorts at them. Well, if it wasn't for your kind, the king would still be here. Hey, you can't say that. At least wait until it's June. But you know, they're just gonna ignore that for no reason and turn on glazing mode to win the Red Prince's favor. But the prince starts having a zest breakdown because he thinks they're infiltrators after his Lucky Charms.
Ew. Did I used to be this unbearably pompous?
Nah, but if it makes you feel any better, you used to be interesting. So two of the toy soldiers bring the prince a gift, his favorite box of cereal.
Your Majesty, please! Majesty! Wait! They gave it to us! It was their fault, it wasn't me!
Huh. Well, you got games on your phone? So they walk into his Zest cave, and the prince wonders why they're so willing to play his game. And RWBY tells them it's cause they need to get to the big Zaza tree in the middle of the candy forest. And leprechauns love getting faded, and he agrees to help them if they win his game. And what are the rules to the game, you ask? Well, you see, it's kind of like chess. See, when you move a pawn... Just kidding, the rules don't really matter. But they tell us anyway, even though they didn't plan to follow it themselves. And that weird trope happens where our main characters get shrunk down and turned into board game pieces. And I know it's weird that I'm saying this like it normally happens, but I promise you, bro, I have seen this shit before. Yeah, and the rules don't matter because the game starts off like, ooh, he purposely gave her the bad pieces so she'd be at a disadvantage. But it actually low-key doesn't matter because Weiss, Blake, and Yang are clutching this 3v20 like they're smurfing in the silver rank of Valorant. To the point where it's not even a board game anymore, and it's literally just a fight scene. Hey, but for what it's worth, I actually like this fight scene. I mean, it's a step up from Season 8's boring, bland ass. Oh yeah, and the prince gets mad because he's getting outfragged by an iron rank. And out of the blue, he asks them what they said their species was again. And RWBY tells him that they are humans. Wait a minute. So you're telling me you're not a shy gamer girl who plays League of Legends and dresses like Ramona Flowers? Arrest them! But luckily, they're saved by a very, very curious cat. And he manipulates the prince long enough to help them escape. And Blake remembers seeing this cat in the story and how he was the one who guided Alex to the tree. So now Mr. Cheshire Cat over here is the new ticket out of here. But before the episode ends, we get to check up on that Dark Souls boss from earlier. And it seems that he's found somebody of note. Uh-oh. Ice cream.
Ice cream and cake and cake. Ice cream and cake and cake. Ice cream and cake, do the ice cream and cake.
So now the team is kind of just following this cat around because it's pretty much their only option. And they keep asking it about the tree and exactly what it is. But the cat's being very vague because that's his whole thing, you know? He at the very least says he can go there whenever he wants because he's connected to it in some way. Wait, that means you could take us there, right? No, then we wouldn't have a plot, silly. And then he leaves.
Are we sure they're not called the constantly annoying cat?
Got him. Totally roasted.
Thank you.
No, this is getting out of hand. Why is Yang the only one making me laugh? So they catch up to him, but this time with a deal. If he agrees to guide them to where they need to go, they promise that they'll entertain him along the way by telling him the entire lore of their show up to this point. Hey, it's funny to be meta now, guys. Okay, shut up. So now they're doing this whole bit where the Curious Cat is like a metaphorical mouthpiece for the fan base and is just airing out all the problems the fans had with these past seasons to the protagonists over here, with who I'm guessing is representing a tired Rooster Teeth writer. Wow, are you sure you guys don't actually just hate each other? Whatever happened to the fairness? You don't check in on them too much. Why does your fan base want you all to bone? And I don't know, Yang, that arm actually seems pretty useful. And why do some of the voice actors sound tired when they're delivering their lines? Yeah, he actually said that last part, by the way. But it has me thinking, were they actually like acting out all the character voices themselves? Because that would have been comedy gold, Rooster Teeth. What are you doing? So after they get done talking about shit I know about already for 3 minutes, they make it to this garden that the Curious Cat told them they needed to go to gather some ingredients for a size enlargement potion called a Grogurt Parfait. Because, you know, they're still small. But he tells them it could be kind of dangerous over here, so don't go off and talk to any people you don't know. So Team RWBY does like Team RWBY do, and they completely ignore whatever the hell he was talking about and immediately start conversing with a stranger. He calls himself the Herbalist, and that boy got that shit that'll get you high. So their dumbasses walk into his house, cause why not? So they get trapped in there and get forced to face the literal physical manifestation of their past traumas. Once again, a normal Sunday for these niggas. So whatever air weed he blew at them made their biggest past trauma literally form in front of them. Weiss's demon talks about how she wished she could be a nobody and didn't have to be a schnee. Blake's demon talks about how what if she didn't have to be a faunus and she could just be a human. And Yang's demon talks about her arm. Hey, I've already made my stance like crystal clear on this, so I'm not gonna talk about it again. So Yang, Weiss, and Blake have their holier than thou moment where they talk about how much they've grown as people since then, and they don't need to change themselves. They're fine with who they are now. And you know what? I'm not even gonna try to poke any holes in this. I'm just happy these three have finally found some emotional stability. Oh yeah, and RWBY.
So, are you a huntress? Like the ones you read about in books?
Damn. Bitch ain't got no hope.
Won't you go? Come a little bit closer now if you like. When you die.
So the Curious Cat steps in and blows all of the Perk 30 dust away, saving the team from this hallucination. And then he gives them a stern talking to and sends the Herbalist to the ever after, if you catch my drift. Don't worry, they'll get over it. So then they ask the Curious Cat how he made a giant hole appear in the ground and eat that caterpillar, and Blake asks, Is he dead? No, he'll get better. He explains how he has the ability to return beings back to the ever after, almost like reincarnation when they've lost their way or fulfilled their purpose, which he then explains that's what happened to the Red King to now make him the Red Prince. But Blake points out that the whole concept of ascension was never explained in the book.
Of course not! Exposition is terribly boring. Even this conversation was, on the whole, rather tedious.
Oh look, they're catching on. So shut the fuck up. Nah, but I'll give them this. The exposition I have to sit through in this season is miles more interesting than whatever the fuck the 8th season was talking about. So good on y'all, man. The Curious Cat tells them all the ingredients they would need for the Grogurt Parfait. First, they need a bushel of grumpy ivy, an ice spice icy potato, a leprechaun's nose hair, and blah blah, who cares, let's give RWBY a nightmare. So on some real white people shit, they split up and RWBY's surroundings start getting darker and darker until she comes across Penny's sword and a random blacksmith. But hey, I'm kinda rocking a robot lady over here. Hey, smash her past, chat. So she asks her a bunch of ominous questions, but she keeps insisting that RWBY choose a weapon from off the stand. But RWBY says, no thanks, I'm already taken. And then she teleports away, like a good partner does, okay? Take notes, guys. But she snaps back to reality, and that whole thing ended up being a vision. Huh. That'll teach me to walk into vans and say free Discord Nitro on it. Uh-oh, guys, plot is happening. So that Dark Souls boss from earlier infiltrates the village and starts to wreak havoc. And we learn its name, the Jabberwocker. And apart from being a terrifying force of nature, the reason it's so dangerous is because any ever afterin it eats is no longer allowed to ascend. So let's take this seriously, guys. They whip up that lean in a cup so they can finally grow and fight off the Jabberwocker. But they can't eat too much or else they'll grow too much and they'll have to get shrunk down again.
It wasn't enough.
What? Then eat more, bitch. It's right there. Whoa, I can't stand ya. But they're saved by plot armor. I mean, some guy on a deer horse. And they get to eat more anyways and jump the Jabberwocker. But uh-oh, there's more. So they're forced to ditch the city and leave it to the Jabberwockers. Oh, okay, guys, let's stop crying. This isn't a sight you're exactly new to. So the guy takes them to his man cave, and Blake recognizes him as the Rusted Knight, someone who helped Alex on her journey to get out of the Ever After. Hey, things are finally looking up for Team RWBY.
Team RWBY. You finally made it.
Jean? They finally gave you something to do.
Yeah!
Yes, finally. Fuck everything I have ever said about this show. Jean is finally important. So episode 6 starts off by showing us what it was like for Jean when he fell. He comes across this random tree that has a weird clock hanging from it. But hey, I don't use physical clocks anymore. Last time I did, that shit sent me back like 20 years in the past.
Wait! Stop it! Please stop!
See, this is why I'm digital now. And Jean explains to them that's how he's been trapped in time down here, just waiting for them to finally fall. And bro really can't even believe his eyes. That's just how long it's been since he's seen his friends. They hug it out, and it's actually really heartwarming. I love that they're giving us more of this shit than constant arguing all the time. But then they immediately undercut the moment with comedy, and this is getting kind of out of hand at this point. Why aren't they able to just let an emotional moment linger? Like, you guys do know what tone is, right? What are you guys scared of? Okay, everyone, we're on episode 5, season 18 of RWBY. Okay, let's see where we left off. Weiss and her first drug deal. Yang becomes a cyborg. RWBY gets Gear 5 and beats Goku. Ah, no, here it is. Alright, so this is right after Team RWBY defeats Salem's long-lost third cousin, who also doubles as her reincarnation for some reason we'll figure out later. All to save Ozpin, who in the last episode took over the body of a hood nigga from the Bronx. But as she's dying, it's revealed that Salem's cousin is actually RWBY's grandmother, and Tai Yang, Summer, and Crow just decided not to tell her for 17 seasons. Boss, is this canon to our My Little Pony crossover? No. We retconned that in the Gotham episode. Does anyone have any ideas on how to handle this scene? I mean, it is a grandmother. I fuck hard, Grandma. Bobby, was that like a question? Like, that was that your idea? I fuck hard, Grandma. That's okay, Bobby. This isn't supposed to be like a comedic scene. No, just think about it. Imagine, they're both crying, and she's saying how much she wished she could have been there in their lives as a family. And as her consciousness starts to fade, they both share a smile together. And after one last tight hug, she looks into the eyes of one of her last existing family members and says, I fuck hard, Grandma. And she gets up and starts hitting the fucking Dougie on that bitch. Okay, come on, Bobby. That's not even funny. And that doesn't even make any sense. Come on, Todd. Our audience isn't emotionally developed enough yet to process realistic emotional moments without immediately breaking the tension? Think of the children, Todd. Okay, I think you're heavily underestimating the age range of our target audience. No. I think he's got a point. Our fan base is fucking stupid. Yeah, fuck you, Todd. All right. Let's all calm down. We're not putting that in the episode. I'm doing it for the children, Todd. Bobby, wait! Oh yeah, and I guess the whole joke here was, wow, look at one of our best friends who's been trapped down here for 20 years. He's hot. Weiss. Hey, but I can't blame Weiss, man. She was just feeling the Kavorka. So John explains to them his side of the story of what happened before he fell down. About Atlas and how Salem has the relic now, blah, blah, blah. Haven't they talked about this shit already? And this is like the third time this season they're crying over this shit. I had a couple comments too, saying I was exaggerating this. I don't know how much clearer I can make it, guys. So even Jean gets annoyed with how they're acting, only because Jean's a real nigga, we knew this. And they're just walking and chatting until Jean wants to know how they made it this far through the Ever After without a guide. But they said they did have a guide. It was a cat. I'm a dog person. Hello! So a wild, curious cat approaches and Jean starts to lose his shit. Because obviously they would have to have met before if Jean is the rusted knight from the book. But he has a very different opinion of the cat from what the story told us. He reveals that boy been capping about the tree's true purpose. The tree isn't some magical exit to the Ever After. It's where creatures go to when they get ascended, like the Red Prince and the Herbalist. And also Alex's brother, Louis. And it erases your personality and memories as well, so yeah, I bet you could guess they're a little mad about that. Fine, be mad. Just so you know, I laced y'all niggas weed. Wait, no! So it might look like they're tweaking off a wax pen, but really all that's happened is they've been transported into an alternate dimension that serves as the mental and emotional manifestation of a problem. So, they are at a literal crossroads. Yeah, it doesn't make it sound any better than the weed. And the only way to get out of here would obviously be to solve the problem or just wait out the storm. Oh yeah, you might notice Blake and Yang are gone, cause they're just hanging out. And honestly, this scene is not bad at all. I actually like the premise of this entire scene. Because before this, Yang and Blake's relationship didn't make any sense. At least from a character and a TV show perspective. Because you'll have a lot of people telling you that this was actually planned all along because Yang looked at Blake funny in season 1. And I'm not gonna act like this scene just magically made me really like their relationship or something like that. But I feel like this scene gave the viewer the much needed insight on, you know, why the hell they're even together. And the way they get past this crossroads is by shouting nice things at each other from like 3 miles away. But I promise you it was actually more wholesome than I'm making it sound.
You have cat ears!
See what I mean? But nah, in all seriousness, their reasons are actually nice as hell. Blake says she loves that Yang acts bravely and always does what she says she will. Yang says she loves that Blake isn't afraid of her brash personality and accepts her for who she is. But there's just one thing they haven't said to each other yet, so what better time than the present?
Just say it, Yang.
I think I love you.
I love you too.
Well played, season 9. And hey, I might have said a lot of shit about these two characters, that I still believe, by the way. But now I can confidently say I like Blake and Yang's relationship, and I'm actually excited to see where they take it next. Good job, season 9. Good job. So now the storm passes due to Blake and Yang, and now they make it to Jean's house. And he gives her Crescent Rose back. That's so nice of him. I'm sure she is so grateful that he found her weapon. You can at least say thank you, bitch, damn. Oh yeah, guys. This is the episode. So the next day, Jean wakes up in a panic because, you know, his village is on fire. But hey, he's in a village? That's kind of interesting. What if there were like other humans that fell down here and they all like gathered together and formed a village? And What the fuck are you? These are the paper pleasers. They're like little origami people who are made to please and also made out of paper. So natural catastrophes happen every day to their village, but Jean is always there to save them. He's their hero. And he also named them.
Hello, I am the one called RWBY. What are you?
Hate that.
Hey, fuck y'all, man. Don't judge him. At least he was thinking about y'all rude asses for 20 years. So afterwards, he sits them down and tells them his great plan to get out of this place.
One of them fancy restaurants.
And what is the plan? There is no plan. Yeah, Jean has come across basically nothing for the duration of his time here. Only because he's been too busy saving the paper pleasers from immediate doom. But hey, now Team RWBY is here. So now Jean can find an exit to the ever after without having to worry. Yeah, I ain't doing that shit. So they all agree that Jean is fucking insane. And they're really trying to sugarcoat it. Oh, well, you know, he's just been going through a lot. Like, bitch, tell me what you really think. Just call that boy crazy and get it over with. But one of the paper pleasers walks over and drops some crazy shit on them. It says that the great tree doesn't actually kill like Jean believes it does. And all they want is to be reborn by the tree because they know that their village and themselves are very delicate creatures. So they want to come back as something more durable to help the land become more resilient as well. But Jean's literally been stopping their attempts to ascend to the tree because he thinks he's helping them. But deadass, he's really just stopping them from evolving. Wait a minute, that's low-key fucked up. And also, I am really impressed with the world building this season. Who knew all they needed was a new world? And Blake says this changes everything because the tree isn't actually death, it's rebirth. But Blake, how does that actually change anything? You guys are looking for an exit. I mean, I guess that's one way to exit, but I'm sure everyone here still wants to be themselves by the end of this. Right? Oh yeah, and Jean overhears them popping all that good shit about him, and he gets mad. And he says that the pleasers have no idea what they're talking about, and they're just stupid, like every other ever after him. Hey, that's racist as fuck, Jean. And Weiss even asks him, bro, if they're so stupid, then why do you care about them so much? And he says it's cause he can actually protect them. Damn, Jean, what happened down here? But uh-oh, it's the plot again. The Plotter Walkers. I don't know, I'll come up with something in a second. And now we get epic fight scene that's actually epic. What? I love how these fight scenes are actually so satisfying now. Weiss just brute forcing her way through with her persona. Blake and Yang working in tandem as a unit because they've grown closer as people. And Jean is just smacking people, I guess. And RWBY... RWBY, why do I feel like you're always the odd one out in these situations? So RWBY's freezing up and fumbling the bag right now. And a Jabberwocker rolls up on her and starts giving her hallucinations?
Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball.
When the hell could the Jabberwockers do that? So it turns out Neapolitan has some new powers now, because why not? Oh yeah, also what time is it, bro? Because I could have sworn that... yep, there it is. Oopsie doopsie! Jean missed his cue to stop the tower from falling, and now all the paper pleasers are dead. But it'll be alright. They're just gonna be reborn and come back good as new. Right, RWBY?
Why are you asking me?
We just...
Because I'm the leader?
Oh shit.
Why do I have to be the leader anyway? Why do I have to always be the one to pick people up? What about me? Gotta stay positive, right? Maybe even finally get our feelings sorted out. Good for you, by the way. We're all so happy for you.
Hey.
RWBY, you can't say that. You can't say that, RWBY.
Is this a bad time? Are we supposed to be mourning Jean's make-believe friends?
Whoa! Bro! Where did Jean catch that Shrey from? And then she just tells them to shut up and then dips. I love this. This is cinema. And the best part about it is, bro, the episode just fucking ends. Wait, that was amazing. Hold on. But yeah, we should check up on her because that was not healthy.
I'm not the one to admit it's helpless. I have a sense that we will be alright.
So we immediately pick up where we left off with RWBY running away from the consequences of her actions. And Mouse Homie, yes, he's still here. Hey, Shorty, you good? You was low-key tweaking back there.
Why are you still here?
What? Hey, Alright, fuck you then, bald-headed ass bitch. That's why your clothes stink anyway. Your scarf smell like soy sauce and regret. So now Ruby's walking alone in the darkness somehow when she comes across a house with a certain Neapolitan. But she's a painting and she's with, wait, is that Torchwick? Damn, I haven't seen his ass since season 1. What the fuck? Wait. Is that Pyrrha? Yo! What the fuck a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? So Neapolitan's playing her usual mind tricks, but she can actually talk with their voices? I don't know, I'm not gonna ask. And she sits at the table where everyone of note that has died in the series is. Also, why they try to slide this dude in here like I wouldn't notice? Important characters only, Power Ranger, sorry. Neapolitan is now low-key rocking her shit, and she's still disguised as all of RWBY's former colleagues. Only thing is, she's not only physically, but mentally beating her down too, by using her friends' faces to say all these bad things about her in her actions. Saying shit like, she always ruins everything, and who made her in charge of deciding the fate of Atlas? And at face value, that just sounds like some evil shit that a villain would say to get in the mind of the protagonist. But when you dive a little deeper into it, they're really regurgitating all of what their fan base has been saying about RWBY since the later seasons. And let me tell you, I really liked this season up until this point, but man, if this is one thing I can't rock with, is when the writers just use their show to air out their grievances against the fans. All they're doing is just bending their words and criticisms in a way you just can't defend. And while I know that there are people out there who hold something personal against Ruby Rose, I guarantee you, all of the fans who have been criticizing Team RWBY throughout the seasons are just passionate about the show and want to see it prosper. And I already know I'm gonna have some chuckleheads in the comments saying, "But I thought you said you hated RWBY in your last video, so you're lying now?" You know what? I don't even blame them. Because I know for those kind of people, it's kind of hard to put together context clues for a 30-minute video. I don't hate RWBY, man. Obviously, I just hate what they did to it. And many other fans feel that way. And that's why they talk their shit about it. Most of the time, because I can't speak for everybody. The fans give their harsh comments and criticisms only because they want this show to be better. And they actually have been doing that this season. But it's just the way they twisted the fans' criticism into some vile one-liner that an antagonist spits out. It just feels so off. And Penny, for the last time, put them fucking yappers away. Golly! Okay, but back to RWBY getting her ass brutally beat. She gets her on the floor wounded and starts talking about her, saying things like, "You don't want to be the cause of any more deaths, do you? Wouldn't the world just be better off if you weren't you? If you weren't RWBY?" So then she slides over a cup of tea, but not just any cup of tea. This kind of tea will get you real fucked up. It's the same tea the herbalist wanted to give them earlier. This is the tea that sends creatures to the tree to ascend. But as we know, the tree erases your personality and memories. So I'm gonna assume you understand what this is a metaphor for. But don't worry, the curious cat steps in to save her. See, I knew he wasn't all that bad. Oh, okay, he's trying to kill her now. So just like a damn cat would do, he double crosses the shit out of her and says he was just waiting for his moment to pounce so he could take over her body by filling her heart with his. Also, yeah, that's how his power works when he sends creatures back to the tree. So now he's gonna do that to RWBY because she has a broken heart. God damn.
And make all of
Mouse homie. Hey, fuck all that. You know I ride for mines, Nick. Mouse homie low-key gets bodied though, but it leaves enough time for the team to get here. But it's too late. She drinks the tea. But hey, now that RWBY's dead, Neapolitan's the one going through a midlife crisis now. Cause her whole fucking existence revolved around RWBY. See? That's new. Wait, if she's sad now, I guess that would mean her heart is broken? Oh, that's just great.
Wanna have the same last dream again, the one where I wake up and I'm alive.
Well, this has been a doozy. And oh my god, you've made it this far! Oh my god, I love you. Feed me. Nah, but seriously, I want to thank you for making it this far. It means a lot, and I do want to do more videos like this in the future. So if you want to see more of that, wrap some support down below. Alright, last 2 episodes. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually kinda like a new RWBY volume. I have myself some more shit to talk about it. So this episode starts off in the most unexpected way ever. We get another appearance from RWBY's mother, Summer Rose, reading RWBY and Yang a bedtime story. And hey, it's the story that they're in right now, so you know, it's funny how that works. Hey, but hold on, RWBY. Just from this glimpse, I'm already knowing, bruh. Hey, let me find out your mom's a S-tier baddie, bro. Yeah, like, damn, where your mom's at, RWBY? Where your mom Man. Oh, so our team's kind of lost on what to do now because RWBY committed death by British. And now they're just really debating where they went wrong when it comes to all this. Which is pretty sad if you're looking at it through a mental health context of how their loved ones would feel in the aftermath. But if you're just looking at it through a, RWBY plotline story perspective, I could tell you a million ways you went wrong. And it all started with... But something else catches their attention. It's the reincarnated paper pleasers. And now they're the, granite grinders. The Steven Universe? Dwayne Rock My Cock Johnson? Dwayne Rock My Cock Johnson? Okay, I forgot, bro. But now they're back more resilient than ever. And it really makes John come to terms with how he might have been wrong about the tree. Maybe the tree wasn't actually all bad. Maybe it isn't really a place you go, but a place you know. There's no place like home, there's no place like home, there's no place like home, there's no place like home. I did it! So Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz gang are finally able to pull up to the tree, cause they know it now, or something. Don't look at me, I'm not gonna explain it. And they find... RWBY? Okay, I get the whole getting packed up thing, but they literally rolled her into a wood. I wonder what's going on in there. Remember when this show was about high schoolers? Well, RWBY is now in the tree. And also with that hot robot lady again. Hey, y'all think I could bag her? Factor cap check, chat. And it turns out, she is the tree. Kinda, but not really. Because the tree is actually all around us, like the Force. I don't know, Master Yoda. And RWBY's all like, am I gonna die in here? If you want to. And hey, guess what they found? The exit to this place. That's so awesome. What the fuck are you doing? So it turns out the Curious Cat can't leave the Ever After because he was planning on it or something. Because Neapolitan has no connections to Remnant anymore because her only connection was fucking RWBY. I'm so glad they're addressing this shit this season. So now he wants to possess RWBY. Again. I mean, second time's the charm, I guess. Back to Tree RWBY. She's basically venting to the damn robot lady about how she admits that all she did want to do was be the hero. Like she always read about in the stories. But no matter what she does, it always feels like she's doing something wrong. And the robot lady's just looking at her like, lol, okay, just pick a weapon, nerd. And these weapons signifying new lives and identities she could take on if she wanted to stop living as Ruby Rose and be someone else. Yo, RWBY. That's crazy and all. But what's even more crazier, that literally any other identity you choose to pick, I gotta ask you, man, are they beating Goku?
Well, remember, RWBY, you're not the only one going through initiation. If you want to grow up, you're gonna have to meet new people and learn to work together.
You sound like Dad. Okay, first of all, what does meeting people have to do with fighting? And secondly, I don't need people to help me grow up. I drink milk.
Last episode. Oh, okay, let's go. So this episode starts off with, Golly! Damn, I wish women were real. So Summer Rose tells her husband Tai Yang that she'll be off on a mission for a while, but she'll come back soon. And just like my dad, she meets up with Raven Branwyn. And for those who don't know, Yang's actual mom and Tai Yang's estranged lover. And yeah, guys, this was fucking crazy and all, but can we talk about how my guy Tai Yang was getting busy? And turns out, this was her final mission before she disappeared mysteriously.
What was that? She lied.
Welcome to the club? So she gets angry and starts going off on a tangent saying, so you're telling me it's all pointless? That I should just give up? Is that what I'm telling you? Oh yeah, and Curious Cat takes a little puff of that gummy bear surprise, and he forgets that he's in a human body and now starts to feel all of Neapolitan's suffering as his own. And then he shoots at her. Okay, so he's a Pokemon now. So RWBY's looking at all these weapons, but she just can't bring herself to be somebody else. And she finally accepts the fact that she is enough. Oh yeah, baby. Are you ready for a real badass mature coming of age moment where the MC learns a valuable lesson from their story arc and then jumps into a fight scene with cool dramatic music playing in the background? Cause that's what's about to happen. see, guys? Good partners stick with each other through the tough times. So RWBY finally remembered how to use her weapon again, and they beat Buddy ass. Damn! Oh hey, and Neapolitan's back. And we actually get an emotional moment of note from her? Now I gotta check on my window, bro. I gotta make sure ain't no pigs flying. And she's actually gonna try to reform herself. This is flabbergasting. So hey, now we're at the end of our journey. And Blake asks an actually relevant question. She wonders if they did any good here, or if they just screwed it all up again. Almost like Alex did.
I'm not sure. I'd like to think that we did at least a little good. Right?
Wait. Are you asking me? But before they could finish that thought, it's... Wait, Mouse Homie? Wait, hold on. That's not Mouse Homie. That's... OG Homie? Hey, what's good, shawty? This is actually heartwarming. I talk a lot of shit all the time about this show, but I'm actually really proud of it this time. Keep this up and I might have to stop locking my door and closing my windows when I watch this show. So the team walks through the door and... Why are we back here? Okay, fair warning. I don't fucking care about the lore all that much. I stopped caring a while ago, actually. So it did not really excite me that much when she pulled out all these secrets about the history of the world and everything. Just know that the two brothers that created Remnant were actually furry role players in disguise. And they were actually made by the tree in the Ever After. Whoa, plot twist. The thing I'm actually concerned about is what happens next. And no, not that. Even though that's gonna be weird. The robot lady opens them a portal back home, but it's an ambiguous portal, cause it might not even be a portal to the same place and time they left off. But in her words, the time and place they're needed the most. And they walk through the portal, and they're greeted by a united vacuo, standing tall with a bunch of ships. So their plan worked? That's the thing. We don't know. You'll just have to find out next season. If there is a next season. Hey man, that was RWBY Volume 9. And let me be honest, man. I don't hate this season as much as I probably should have. And wait guys, let me finish. Don't go on Reddit yet. I'm not saying that I actually wanted to hate it at all. This season was so damn charming, man. And so much more interesting than whatever the hell they spat out in the last 5 years. I mean, it's really hard to bring myself to hate that they're moving the story into a more interesting direction. But at the same time, I cannot deny I did not rock with the bullshit they were trying to sell me with RWBY this season. Her whole arc was interesting, don't get me wrong. From the start to the finish, I was entertained. But that doesn't mean it was well written at all. The whole message of this season was teaching us that, yes, you are enough. As a person, you're already good. Just the way you are. But they really failed at showing the one important aspect that I've been wanting to happen to these characters. They still really failed at showing me that these characters knew how to grow up. At not one point in the season did I really feel like RWBY or anyone else really had a grasp on their own main message that they were trying to peddle to us. This is why I also think they fumbled the bag a little when talking about mental health. When RWBY's getting her ass handed to her in episode 8, looking at it in a mental health context, when she gets bogged down from the weight of her actions, she doesn't keep getting back up like Moomin Rider did in One Punch Man all badass. She doesn't accept that she made the decisions that she did in the past and lives with it. Bro, she just fucking gives up. What are you trying to tell me, show? If I get a little too tired of everything, take a sip of some murder tea and some cyberpunk lady is gonna appear and talk me through all my problems? That's not how that works. And she didn't even learn anything from that, really. It's just so confusing of what they're trying to teach us this season. And to be honest, I don't even think they know. RWBY doesn't even know. The show doesn't even know. So why the hell do they expect me to know what the hell they're talking about? But hey, I didn't actually hate this season. And I actually understand Yang and Blake's relationship now. Does that make me a Bumbleby shipper now? Hold on, guys. I gotta go talk about why all men are trash and say some racist things about monkeys. See ya.